You got to explain this woman to me. She's a blogger from Canberra who we came across last week while looking for recipes for deep fried fruit. Okay. So her screen name is Deep Fried Fruit. Okay. And we decided, why don't we contact her and let's talk about her blog.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does she talk about in her blog?
Just general life stuff. She's been blogging since she was 40. Well, since her 40th birthday. And she's been blogging generally since. She's up to day 1007 or something.
Wait, so she blogs every day?
Every day.
350.
And we did this like 3 years.
3 years. Okay, so she's about 43.
I'm not going to say that on air because that would be rude.
It would be rude.
Don't say a lady's age on air.
But I said about.
It's in the general vicinity of 20 to 100.
You know who is young?
Yeah.
There's two of them that are quite young. The Veronicas.
Oh, they are.
We'll talk to Deep Fried Lady up next. Deep Fried Fruit.
Yep, Deep Fried Fruit.
After the Veronicas, new track, Lolita, 7:36. Breakfast with Dan and Tim on the Switch. That's the Veronicas, Lolita. As I just said, 7:39. Breakfast with Dan and Tim. And we've got someone on the line.
We're currently...
Hi, how you going?
We're currently on the line with Leanne Langdown. She's a blogger from Canberra, I believe. I'm getting that correct.
Yes, you are.
Oh,
Cold
fantastic.
Canberra.
Cold,
We say to you,
it's cold enough here as it is.
Are you aware we're in Brisbane? Because I realised how rushed putting together this interview was.
Do you know why we're calling you? Because I still don't understand why we're talking. Not that I'm having a go or anything, but...
Well, so you were calling me about deep fried fruit. Apparently you guys were doing a bit of research. What, were you going to deep fry a banana or something?
See, this has nothing to do with me. It's more to do with Tim and the other breakfast guy that isn't here this morning, Alistair.
Yes, and Sabina as well.
And Sabina was here too, was she? Okay, so...
Long story short, somehow, because this is the direction our show takes, we got onto the conversation of deep fried fruit. And I didn't think it actually existed, so I decided to try to look up some recipes, and I came across your blog along the way.
Okay.
So I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we just called this person and decided to just have a little chat to them?
Why not?
Well, I'm very sorry I had no deep fried recipes for you.
Oh.
That's okay. I've recently been reminded that fritter is a deep fried fruit, and now I'm on board.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Don't you ever go to those fast food places and get the deep fried banana and the deep fried pineapple ring?
No, that totally space. I didn't think of that at all. I thought it was like the most ridiculous idea of deep fried fruit.
Hey, I used to work in a takeaway chicken shop when I was a teenager, and the Hawaiian pack always included a deep fried banana and a deep fried pineapple.
I'm gonna go home and deep fry some fruit now. Some pineapple.
Is there a trick to it, do you know? Or is it just...
Oh, I have no idea. I think you just batter it up and throw it in the deep fryer.
To clarify, Leanne, your blog is not about cooking fruit.
No, not at all. My blog is about being middle-aged.
Oh.
And how is that so far?
Well, it's fantastic, I've got to say.
Is it?
The reason I started it was because when I turned 39, I absolutely freaked out. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be 40 next year, and I haven't achieved half of what I wanted to achieve by then. So in my 39th year, I set about, getting fit and setting some new goals for myself. And one of those goals was to be a writer. So on the day I turned 40, I started blogging because I thought, what a great way to start writing. And I set myself the task that I had to blog every single day.
Wow. Which by itself is just incredible because you're up to day 1030, I believe.
Yeah, that's it. What a ridiculous thing to do.
I think it's pretty awesome, actually.
Well, I tell you, I have to blog rain, hail, or migraine, and sometimes I just think, what were you thinking? But at the same time, it's forced me to have to get creative, and it's forced me to have to actually write, and I guess that's the achieved my goal.
I was going to say, how do you go for finding content? Because I know we struggle here on the breakfast show some mornings.
Sometimes we talk about deep fried fruit. That's where we are.
Well, you know, it's hard. It is. It's extremely hard. I mean, at the beginning I found it fairly easy because I had so much chatter going on inside my mind over, 40 years worth of stuff inside my head. So for the first year or so it was fairly simple. And I guess the other thing is that, this whole middle-age stuff, when I started, it sort of started at the shock of aging. So there's plenty of that to blog about, particularly as a woman. I mean, where the hell did this chin hair come from? Seriously. And then it went right through to embracing the 40s, and I just think it's the best decade ever. And, poking fun at myself, and then basically it's progressed to moving forward positively through life. And so, it's not too hard to find content. I've got my kids, I've got my husband. Husbands are easy to poke fun at, I guess.
How do they feel about being written about, I would assume not every day, but on and off?
Well, I'm very careful about what I write about my children, and I don't put photos of my children on the blog. With my husband, I do it in a way that is with love, even though, he reads it, and he's good with it. I entered a blogger competition a couple of years ago, and one of the posts that was put up that piqued the judge's interest was me comparing my husband to a Labrador dog.
How did he feel about that one?
Was he okay? Do they read the blogs, or do you just sort of post this stuff and they don't know anything about it? Or do you tell them?
No, he reads it now.
Has he ever asked you to take a story down or anything?
No, he hasn't. But I am very careful with the way that I write. I don't like to put people down, so I write fairly, even if it's in fun, it's a fairly positive approach.
I have noticed that just skimming through. It is difficult to try to research this because there is just so much content to go through. So I'm just kind of scrolling through. I think I'm down to day 972, and that's...
Oh yeah, what was I doing that day?
Finding the perfect handbag.
Well, you don't remember.
There you go.
Okay, well, we have quite a young audience, so would you have any advice for any of us that are quite young? I know I'm sort of freaking out. I'm 25 now. I feel old, so...
I just turned 21.
Yeah, we're feeling a little bit freaked out at the moment with aging.
Yep.
So you reckon the 40s are pretty good, are they? So we got nothing to worry about?
Well, I think as long as, and I've always said this, I remember when I was coming up to 30, so I remember being 25, and I remember actually I had a boyfriend back when I was 21, and he was older than me, and he was turning 30. And when he turned 30, he absolutely freaked out, and because he hadn't achieved anything that he'd hoped to achieve. And so when I turned 25, I made a decision that I was going to set myself a number of goals to reach by the time I was 30, which meant that I had something to aim for. And so when I turned 30, and by then I'd met my now husband, Derek, and, was married and had my first baby in my arms, over that 5 years I'd achieved every goal I set out to achieve, which meant that I felt fulfilled, I guess. In the decade 30 to 40, well then I spent that whole time, working full-time and raising children. And so some of my dreams went by the wayside. So that, as I said, when I turned 39, I suddenly had to grab hold of those dreams again and push forward. And I think as long as you've got goals and that you continue to grow, because if you don't, and you suddenly wake up and you're 40, and you're exactly where you were, 20 years ago, and you hadn't moved forward, then that can be a little demoralising, I guess. And I think that's where midlife crises come from.
Well, I really hope when I get close to 40, I sound as inspirational as you.
Yeah, this has been a great chat. Who would have thought deep fried fruit would have turned into such a great conversation?
And do you want to know why I called it deep fried fruit?
Yes, I have to ask that question.
It was because I made the decision when I turned 40 that I was going to be fit and fabulous at 40. And then I thought, and I know this isn't the right word, but is that an oxymoron? Can you be fit and fabulous at 40, or does the whole turning 40 cancel out any chance of being fit and fabulous? Or does being fit and fabulous cancel out middle age? And I thought that was a bit like deep fried fruit. So if you deep fry a banana, is that cancelling out the goodness of the banana, or is the fact that it's fruit and that's good for you cancels out the deep fried matter?
So deep. This is too deep. This is too deep for the breakfast show.
I was expecting you to say like, oh, I was having lunch and eating deep fried banana, and then I
All right then. Okay. The other story is I was having a massage, and in the middle of the massage, deep fried fruit popped into my head, and I had no idea how I was going to use it. And then one day I needed a blog name, so that's the one I used.
That's awesome.
I do that with band names.
There you
I'm
go.
currently thinking of Atomic Penguins.
Excellent.
I cannot play an instrument, but we'll deal with that later.
Atomic Penguin, that's fantastic. That's a great name for a blog. You should get one started.
Yeah, you do that, Tim.
Okay.
You can blog every morning. Now that you're 21.
Okay, I'll do that.
It's his birthday the other day. There we go.
And you know, when I actually started the blog, I was only going to do it for 1 year. It was for my 40th year.
And you just
liked it so much. Okay. Yep, so go to atomicpenguins.com to read my blog. Day number 1, finding the perfect handbag.
and how can we find your blog?
Okay, it's www.deepfriedfruit.com.au.
And I think you better mention Switch 1187 in your next blog post.
Absolutely, I'll do it today.
Yes.
And just by the way, your Facebook is now up to 2,993.
Yeah!
Thank you so very much.
It's been an absolute joy talking to you.
Great talking to you guys. Have a great sunny Brisbane day, I hope.
Oh,
thank you.
It's looking absolutely beautiful.
Try not to get frostbite in Canberra.
I'm wearing my Ugg boots.
Fantastic.
Oh, there she goes. This is Switch 1187. He's Empire of the Sun, walking on a dream. Walking on a dream. The breakfast show. We were just talking to Leanne. Great chat, I thought.
Yeah,
I was a little bit worried when we found out, you're a little bit older than us.
Yeah, not necessarily in our demographic.
Yeah.
But,
it was a good chat. Yeah. Because it's something I've been thinking about a bit lately, actually.
Turning 40?
No, we're not turning 40, but just getting older.
Only like, what, 3 years away from you?
No.
Waka waka.
15 years. Shit, it's 15 years away.
Why are you freaking out? 15 years? That's a decade and a half.
Yeah, I suppose. But, you know what we should do? Every time we come up with something random to talk about, we'll Google it and see if we can find an interesting person to talk to. Because I think having interesting people on air, like Leanne, makes us sound better.
Yeah. Something that's more interesting than us on air always makes it sound better.
7:59, we'll check your traffic and weather up next, and then I'm out of here.
No!